book has a lot of information that is going to help you understand leadership based on our biology and based on the history of the United States. So I recommend to all of you to read the book, especially, if you are in leadership. How to create a circle of safety in the work environment. On the book, Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek, he shares tons of information of how to become an outstanding leader based on our biology, based on the history of the United States, seeing how some leaders have been able to be so successful and how others have failed through their role as a leadership. So to begin with, we have to have a circle of safety in our work environment. And a circle of safety is a strong culture based on a set of human values and beliefs. Also is based on giving them the opportunity to make decisions. Think of parenthood. Think of how sometimes when we give our children the ability to choose, they gain that self-esteem, they gain more responsibility because they're choosing. So if we learn to give our team the opportunity to choose, you are giving them the gift of feeling responsible, the gift of feeling, proud that you're trusting them. And then he also talks about offering trust and empathy. Like if we learn to build that trust and empathy in the work environment, you're setting your team for success. We have to think, of all of us as we're human beings. And if we learned how our biology works, then you're going to be able to understand how we function and how our team functions. So let's talk about some hormones, some chemical hormones that our body releases depending on our behavior. Like he talks about endorphins and dopamine are the hormones in charge for us to feel the progress, to feel that we're doing, something good, that we are moving along on the project. Dopamine is the one that gets you through college because you think, that you're going to graduate. Dopamine is the one that keeps you going whenever you feel like you no longer want to because it's too hard. Dopamine is there for you. So our hormones can serve us in a beautiful way, that can help you push through progress. But it also can harm you, especially now. We are so used to instant gratification and we want things like right now. So we need to learn to observe our behavior. Think of how many times you're on your phone. Think of it if you have built an addiction to see how many likes you have. Think of it and see how you feel whenever you hear your phone go ding, that you got a text message or you got a notification, that somebody liked your post on Facebook or on Instagram. It's like, pay attention how you feel because you get a little rush of dopamine, which that is an instant gratification. And sometimes that distracts us from getting our stuff done, from truly paying attention to our children or truly paying attention to the project that you're working on. Scientific research says that if we get distracted, it takes us a while to go back to what we were doing, okay? So another hormone that is for us is serotonin. Serotonin, it is another hormone that allows us to feel proud, allow us to feel, respected. It allows to finish a marathon in order for us to feel respected, in order for us to feel that we made it. The people are going to look up to us because we finished a marathon. So serotonin kind of push you, through the finish line because you want to feel, proud. You want to feel respected. So if we learn to use our behavior in a way that is going to serve our biology, we're on the right path. Then he also talks about the queen of the queens, hormones, it is oxytocin. Oxytocin, it is the love hormone. And we can release this oxytocin for free. Like you can learn to love more. You can learn to trust more. You can learn to build relationships, because through that process, you are releasing oxytocin. If you have a significant other, the more you hug him, the more you hug her, you are releasing oxytocin. And we need this in our work environment. We need to trust each other. We need to feel love and empathy for one another, to understand each other. So it is so important to understand our biology. He also talks about an ugly hormone, which it is. Cortisol is an ugly hormone, if we want to picture it that way so we can remember it. Cortisol is in charge of our stress and is in charge of our anxiety. So I don't know how is your work environment, but if cortisol is running your work environment, most likely it's not healthy and your health is at risk, because cortisol, in high levels, it destroys your health. It deteriorates your health a little bit at a time. The opposite of oxytocin. Oxytocin boosts up your immune system. So it is so important for us to analyze, what is the environment that we're working on. It's like we truly need to be in an environment that there is oxytocin, that there is serotonin, that there is dopamine, that there are encouraging each other, that your biology, like we cannot change our biology. It's just like if you're stressed, cortisol is going to be released. If you're happy, oxytocin is going to be released. So we know we cannot change our biology, but we can change our environment. So this book is inviting us to build a strong team, to build a strong foundation for our clients. Because if your team is strong, your clients are going to notice. Your clients are going to feel welcome. They're going to feel loved. And, your results are going to be greater than if you're just focusing on numbers. If you begin to focus on the people in your team that gives you the results that you want, the better off your company will be. Let me share a story really quick about how in 1994 here in the United States, there was some change with congressmen and the senators. Way before that, they would always move to Washington, D.C. And they would just stay there. They would move their family and everything, and their children would go to the same schools, and they would get to know each other. Even though they had different beliefs, they were all work together for the benefit of the country. So they would go out and eat lunch. They would gather up on the weekends. They had a relationship. Even though some of them were from the opposite party, it didn't really matter, because they kind of knew each other. They were building relationships. And whenever it came to the time, whenever I'm gonna tell you why I don't believe that's the right thing for our country, it didn't really matter that much, as in, we're going to still be friends even though we don't agree. I hope I'm making sense. So they had a strong relationship because they would see each other every day. Okay, they live in the same town. Their kids would go, like I said, to the same schools. They would see each other on school functions. They just, they got to know each other. And after 1994, because of technology and some other reasons, the senators and congressmen, they didn't move to Washington, D.C. anymore. They stayed in their own state and they worked from there. And they would only fly, or they now only fly to Washington, D.C. whenever there is a meeting. And it's not very often. So I want you to think how leadership has shifted in the United States since 1994. Before they were all focused on the benefit of the country. And slowly, because they don't know each other anymore, they don't have a relationship. Now it's more about control. Now it's more about, I'm going to prove you that you're wrong and I am right. And the reason why, if you pay attention to history, it is because they no longer have a relationship. So that tells you how important it is to create a strong team in our work environment, to set the foundation of a good relationship so that your team can be strong, so that your company can be strong, because it is the people that makes your company strong, not your clients, but it is the people that works towards those results. So I hope this is a reflection for you to begin to think, how important leadership is in the work environment, how important it is to set values, to set the belief of your cause, so that your employees can wear that t-shirt with, very proud every single day because they work in a company that is focused on a good cause. They work in a company that they trust, where they feel the empathy, where they feel the love, where they feel like it is okay to mess up, it is okay to fail, because we're learning in the process. He also talks about how we need to teach, our team about leadership. What is leadership about? Because sometimes we forget. We are busy with our own regular lives. So if we keep, a monthly or every 6 months or a yearly class for leadership, then they'll be on track. Also, is like we need to teach our people to be okay to get feedback. It's like as much as we want to bring them up, building up, they also need to understand, to get feedback. And it's something about the millennials, that we have to learn to get feedback. But we're coachable, we are teachable. So if we do it in a good way, where it's like we're here to grow, we're going to talk to each other about what we need to work on, but also what we're doing good. Let's talk about our progress as well. Same thing about failing, like teach them that it is okay to fail, that you are here for them, kind of like a parent. Our kids are going to mess up, and that's the only way they are going to learn. So same thing with our employees. We have to teach them that it is okay to fail, and we're going to learn from it, and we're going to do it better next time. The last one is like teach them to love themselves. Teach them that it is okay to love themselves. Because if they learn to love themselves, imagine how they're going to show up to work. They're going to be able to pour love to one another. They're going to be able to pour that support with empathy to one another. That book is amazing. The book has a lot of information that is going to help you understand leadership based on our biology and based on the history of the United States. So I recommend to all of you to read the book, especially, if you are in leadership. I hope you find a word. I hope you find a phrase. I hope you find, an aha moment that you can adopt for you or your family or your company that can help you to improve your life.